would say this is the most important one to do regularly and with metronome. And it doesn't even matter what the speed of your metronome is. It can be really slow, but this is a great one to increase both endurance and speed of your double tonguing. But I know the feeling that the metronome is getting faster and faster as your tongue gets more and more tired. And so you have to stick the metronome on so that you can maintain the speed to the best of your ability through the entire 3 pages of this exercise. This is great to build tonguing speed and endurance, no matter how slow you start. Your tongue, if you've never done this before, by the time you get to the end, your tongue should feel like it's going to fall out on the floor because it's so tired from all of the double tonguing. That's a good sign that you've put your tongue through a good workout. And if you're not used to that feeling, it's a very funny feeling because that never just happens to us while we're talking. We can talk endlessly all day long and our tongue doesn't get tired. And for more thoughts about your tongue and what a very interesting, unique group of muscles it is within our bodies, you should go back and watch the Flute Tube episode I did that's called Your Tongue is Like an Octopus. To me, what I talk about there was very much a revelation about how our tongues work and why they can do all the amazing things that they do. But even though you should and will feel that your tongue gets very tired, also be thinking that you are going to let your air do all the work. Let the air stream, the speed of your air, your support, be what does the work. The more you think of like doing taka 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 taka, the more you're going to needlessly tense up your tongue and wear your tongue out. You want to feel like it's just flapping in this strong breeze that's going through with your nice supported airstream, and you just very gently tap into that airstream, taka taka taka. Like maybe your airstream is water coming from a faucet and you just stick your finger through that stream of water. You're not going to stop the water. You're not going to change the flow of the water. You're just going to stick your finger through it. And that's what you do with your tongue and your airstream. You want your airstream to be what's really generating the energy, and your tongue just interrupts it enough to create the sound of the double tonguing. Take every opportunity also that you can to consciously rest your tongue. For instance, you have all these measure-long trills, and you can either use them to think, relax, open, rest my tongue, or you can be all tense through them and trilling and like, ah, with your tongue still really tense, and then your tongue won't have any chance for rest. So you want to give your tongue every possible chance for rest. I always, when I get to those trills, consciously think, relax, relax, my tongue is not doing anything, and that really helps with my endurance. I am going to show you my old Altès for inspiration today. You can see when I started this and my teacher put me in this book, and she straight away had me come and start number 12 because it's so good for double tonguing. You can see in my old 5th grade handwriting, 2 eighth note equals 88. That's barely faster than half tempo, and that was my goal. And I got there, and then you can see maybe up in the corner this faint little writing that was my teacher's writing, where I kept moving it faster, and by the time I got out of this book I was up to eighth note equals 112. Well, the final tempo is eighth note equals 168 because it's dotted quarter equals 56. So I was not very close to final tempo, but this still helped me so much. I was working on it when I was 10 and 11, and I did it for months. I would always come back to it. But when I got old enough that I had a student who was good enough to do this exercise, I remember very well, I was at Juilliard and I was teaching this student, and she got to number 12, and I told her, don't even try to do the written tempo. It's impossible. And I stuck the metronome and I said, see, I'm going to try, and it's impossible, and I could actually do it. So your tongue does get better. It keeps getting better and better. I mentioned that because it can feel fruitless. It can feel like I just can't get my tongue to go faster. But if you practice and you have strategies and you work hard on those specific strategies, it really can improve. And one episode also of Flute Tube that I talked a lot about strategies to get your tongue going faster is the best double tonguing exercise. So I'll link to that as well. Another thing I talk about in there is whether to use ta, ka, or da, ga. So I would go back and look at that episode if you have not seen it. Other things about this etude, One thing I will mention about this number 12 is that if I'm purely going for speed, I'll do daga 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 the whole way through. But when I'm practicing it, I like to take the time also to switch every half page. So I'll do daga 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 for the first half of the page, and then I'll switch to kata 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 kata, and I'll do that every page, all 3 pages. That's a really good way to work on your back syllable by putting it on the beat, and it's a good way to make sure that your tongue, those syllables, can be very equal and even. He does say that you can transpose it and do it a semitone higher in G major. Yes, you can, but not until you've mastered it in the glorious, wonderful key of F sharp major. And then when you transpose, it's fun because it feels like you're so good at transposing. It's so easy to transpose just 1/2 step higher, and then you're in a much friendlier key. So I would do that, but only when you can genuinely play it in F sharp major. Other than that, I hope you're having a beautiful holiday break and you're getting enough rest that you'll be impatient in just a few days to see just how fast you can make your tongue go.